Jon Savage is back. What's your poison? Okay, let's try another one of these things. Ard Matthews. What a guy. Completely unpromoted. There should be nobody in the house. Let's see how we do. Another Friday night. Today, I will let you know. My drink of choice is a 12-year-old bottle J&B and a glass. I'm classy that way, drinking out of a glass. Only the classy of us don't drink straight out of the bottle. Okay. Um, I'm really enjoying these things. We've had. I like that they're quite low key. Nobody knows about them. I don't promote them. They will be coming out in a series of podcasts called "What's Your Poison." They're already out there in Spotify and all that world. Um, I'm actually busy rolling out a couple of old episodes from about a year ago with the Parlotones and Yoav and all that shit. But the new season's pretty different. It's just a shit show. Okay. I haven't sent Art his invitation to Scroom. Let me do that quickly. This is live zooming. Done. Okay. Art Matthews. Now I have a weird history with him, and I don't think he might not know about it. So this could be very embarrassing, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Let me just pull up the screen so that I actually get to see. Sometimes I forget to admit these human beings. Anyway, hope you guys are all enjoying the world of what's left of it. Going to lockdown stage 3. Yeah. Don't know what the fuck that means. I've looked at it and I've read it. I just haven't digested it. I just know I can exercise and I still can't surf. I'm thinking about running for president, and all I'm going to offer is that under lockdown 3, you can surf and smoke. And I think I could win the presidency just on those two things. What do you think? Would you vote for me? Yeah, no one has an answer to that. Oh, here we go. Admit. Boom, ba doom, boom, boom. Please, can there be audio?
Please, can there be audio?
Yes! I love it when there's audio.
Is there?
Matthews!
That's amazing.
How you doing, my brother?
Oh, pretty good. How are you, bro?
I'm good. Cheers. Welcome to What's Your Poison? This is the.
I'm brandy and coking it tonight.
I'll tell you what I'm doing, and this is gonna sound Lani, but it's actually not. So I've got this bottle of J&B. Now I hate J&B, but at the last episode of this thing, I drank the dregs of everything I have, and I had to like search. I'll tell you what actually happened. I messaged my neighbor over there, and I said, "Do you have any whiskey?" And she said, "Yes, I've got a bottle of First Watch." So I was like, "I don't think so."
I was about to say, well, First Watch is gold in this day and age, bro.
Is it? It's a collector's item because it's so cuck.
Well, it's gold, right? I mean, we don't. Who
Oh,
are
I
we
see.
to judge what watch?
My
Second
wife,
watch, third. I'll take all the watches right now.
my wife went into the cupboard of whiskeys I've been given as presents that I was supposed to re-gift, and then they've come out for this occasion. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, bro. Well, I got this.
Clip drift. Nice. Very good.
Not too bad.
And are you a couple in now?
Yeah, I'm a couple in. I couldn't wait. Cheers, boys. Sorry, brother.
Cheers. Good to see you,
I was
man.
on private. Yo, you too, bro.
I see that little vinyl record of. Are you a vinyl nerd like me at all, or not really?
At all, bro.
Not at all.
I'm a very big letdown in music in general, bro. When it comes to.
I'll tell you why. The vinyl collectors, like that Rodriguez record.
Yeah.
They all sort of go bananas for it, but there's a special edition that has a typo on it. It has a literal typo on the record. They spelled his name wrong. They spelt it as Sicto, SIC instead of SIX.
And that's the one you want.
That's the one you want. You should check that if it's in there. If you got that one.
Dude, I don't even think that one works. There might not even be a Rodriguez record in there.
Oh.
I'm gonna check right now. Hang on. Let me do priorities here first.
Okay, you're definitely doing this in the right order.
Sixto, fuck it, man. It's potato, right?
Let me tell you a little background on What's Your Poison. It's a show we started a while back and it's kind of got it's, there's no agenda. It's just like drink a lot, talk shit. That's pretty much it. What do you got?
It's definitely cold fact. That's good. I
What?
don't think
How?
it's playable, bro.
No. Look at the name. Look at the spelling on the on the circle there. If it's
It's
Sicto,
6 SIX.
cheapo.
Nowhere near, bro.
You, you obviously met him, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard
A
some
few
fucking
times, and
crazy stories about that dude.
yeah,
That
bro.
that he is
He,
like a barrel of trouble.
oh, God bless him, but he's not really. You know what he is. He's just, we got those mates who like like weeds okay. The magical properties of weed are unbelievable. But then you get the weed heads, and then you get the oaks who come back at you and go, shit, bro, I was in a weed cloud for like 10 years. I don't know what the hell happened. And that's God blessed, beloved Rodriguez. He's a proper big pothead, and that's all. And so he lives in that world, and there's
Mm,
no, bro. We all have our vices, so no judgment set on that at all. But that's literally it. I don't think he's any weirder than just being perpetually stoned.
mm. And
You
were
know?
you here the first? Did you meet him the first time he came here?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, bro. I
apparently,
sat at his feet.
oh, did you? Where was it? He played at the
Mm.
Armchair Theatre at one
I
point,
think the first one I remember was the blues room in Joburg.
right?
That's what I remember. Remember the original blues room?
Mm. They demolished
So
it now.
yeah. That's long gone. But I sat there, and I remember like like sitting underneath his feet, going like watching every line. And he was still youngish then. And then he kind of wasn't nailing it too much, but I mean it was still awesome, bro.
And so this is obviously the million trillion dollar question.
Yeah.
What did he think of your version? And you can tell me the truth.
No, seriously, bro. So his sister was his sister was the first to say that she was like, "Oh, hey man, Rodriguez really loves your version," and that's the first time that we knew that Rodriguez was alive. I was like, "What?" She
Oh,
called the
really?
record company. Yeah, she called BMG then. She was like, "Hey man, just to let you know, Rodriguez really loves your version."
Hold on a
We're like,
second.
"What did you hold?"
Slow the
Yeah,
horses. Are you telling me
yes,
that the first point of contact that started the whole roller coaster of Rodriguez was them calling you with
yes,
your cover? So you did it. You the fucker
dude.
who brought him out.
Dude, let me tell you something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am not a, you know me, bro. I'm not a bitter person. I don't need anything. But that Finding Rodriguez is a bullshit documentary because Just Ginger brought him to South Africa, and we weren't mentioned once. We had a massive, massive hit. He
What?
came onto stage with us at Standard Bank Arena, and he toured the country massively after this. And they all mentioned how these guys in a vinyl shop found him. Kudos, no disrespect at all. Like, and I don't care ultimately, but it was
You
just
care.
happened to
I
be on
care.
a
This is a
very,
story you
very
have
big
to care
song.
about.
Of course, but I mean, there's a little fact
Fuck.
that you have to care about is that it was a very massive song in the country, and Rodriguez appeared a few months later. So, like, that's a little fact that was kind of overlooked in that beautiful movie. I mean, it's my favorite movie. I love him to bits, and I,
Mm.
I I think they shot it well. It's a beautiful movie, but just between you and me, bitter table for one, bro.
Did they interview you at all for that thing?
No, not a mention in the whole
That
movie
is
or anything
fucking
about that.
unacceptable. Maybe we have
I
to do
would
a
say,
sequel.
will you help me write a strongly worded email for that,
You know
please,
what the
Johnny?
best thing to do in this situation is to
Yeah.
do a spoof. To spoof the whole fucking thing. But in the spoof, you tell the absolute truth and you do it with a smile on your face. That's how you fuck people up.
Just calm. Kill them with kindness. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. But that's fucking
All right.
incredible. I did not know that. Is that something people know?
That
Or
is a that is a fact. Not many people know that.
that's the we
It's
got to
quite
do
random.
something
It
about
was
this.
after the song was a number one in South Africa. We played the show. I invited him on stage at the Standard Bank Arena to come
Mhm.
and sing a verse. People
Fuck.
thought people thought it was just some random dude. They still didn't even know who it was at the time. That is a very true story. And a month or two later, he did, as we know, the rest is history. Did like
Shit.
arena after arena tour around the country, and fantastically, like how cool for him, amazing.
Have you ever thought about asking him to sing on a song with you or collaborate on something, or is that not really his
I
vibes?
know his sister was very cool, at keeping in touch. A couple of years ago, I was kind of, I don't know, bro. I was also a little bit all over the place. The last time he was here, I was kind of just finding my feet in Cape Town, and she was like, "Rodriguez, I'd love to see you and meet you." And I was like, "Ah, you're joking? Of course, I'd love to." And then he was in the wilderness, and then he wasn't, and then the wilderness became. Who knows? You know what I mean? But
I,
no,
you,
I would love to, but I mean, it
look,
didn't happen.
you've met him. I tell you, when I watched that film, I felt there was a lot of glossy. I thought there was a whole thing that it felt to me. I don't know. There was a whole story that wasn't being told. Like they were constantly like not telling important things to try and dramatize the thing. But he looked to me like a total fucking struggling human being in that film. Like he really didn't look like he had his shit together in any
Yeah,
way, and that they
yeah.
were
I
sort
guess.
of
I guess.
mythologizing him,
Yeah.
connizing.
I think if you do dig into it, you'll probably find the struggle into almost anyone.
Yeah.
And I think he was harder, especially the fact that he got screwed so hard in the beginning without even knowing, and
By that
such an
one
innocent.
dude. How's that interview with
Yeah,
that one guy? You just want to put your fist through his whole
right,
face.
right. I mean, we all. I mean, hopefully you don't. Hopefully your stories are not even anywhere near as
Oh,
bad as mine. But we all have stories, man. And damn, have we been screwed in the past? And you know, bro. At the end of the day, here we are, bro, drinking beautiful brandy during lockdown and enjoying our lives. Life
beautiful.
carries on, eh? You know.
Yeah, not to like this is not for the drama of it, but if you're keen, let's talk about those fuck ups. And the reason is not to be vindictive. I
Yeah.
think that you don't people don't see the total shit you go, so much fuck ups to get to where you are that are invisible to most people. What do you think are what's your hugest fuck up you ever did? Career wise.
Um, bro, they all start definitely signing the record deals without proper advice,
Uh-huh.
without having a really good team
And how
around.
many times did you do that? Or were you stuck into one record deal for many years from the
I
beginning?
was initially, and then I think we did it at least 2 or 3 times again after that. I mean, I remember
The
signing
trap.
unbelievable, and we don't know, we just musos frothing.
Mm,
So, like I grew up without a father. Not that that's an excuse at all, but I never had I never had like a voice of reason or someone going, "Hey, I'll call my buddy to check on that." Like I never had it. I did
mm,
everything myself. And again, it's no excuse because you should just sort your shit out anyway. And
mm.
I just didn't have it, and I found that that worked very much against me because I made some really bad decisions that could have been quite nicely handled by just an authoritative father figure in my life, or just
Mm.
a mate, or someone who could have just gone, "That doesn't sound right. That you're signing your publishing away in this record deal," and me not knowing, and then
But
spending 3 years
in your
in
defense,
litigation trying to get my songs back because it's completely unrecognized in the
mm.
court of law. It's illegal. You can't sign 2 contracts with one signature, but try and tell the record company then. Like
I have such a clear memory. First time ever hearing Just Ginger on Barney Simon show. Um, I remember that day so clearly, going like, "What the fuck?" It didn't sound like anything else. Also, you were getting signed to a label, which like early on, which was something so new. So I can understand. And there were
yeah,
also like I was friends with the guys from Lithium. They had the ultimate
yeah,
story where they actually got shelved. They made an album that got put away to end,
yeah.
essentially end the career. So I can understand you made like that's a time where no one knew shit. You had no one. Who would you have consulted with at that time as well? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
well,
We did. Apparently, a lawyer saw it and he changed a couple of words into other words that actually really didn't mean anything. So we thought we had been represented, and was, I'm not going to go back and blame anyone in particular because ultimately there's 4 of us in the freaking band, so we can maybe pull our weight a little bit and do it. But again, it's that young ambitious frothing to just get going. But what do you do about it? You can hardly not be cross with it because it's just I just want to go. Yes, I want a deal. I don't care if my life is going to be owned. My life.
how many
And
years were you
and
in that deal for?
it's the BMG thing. I don't know. That would have been a long 5 or 10 years, and they obviously own the masters for
Fuck.
life. And it took me 3 or 4 years just to get my publishing back. That took half of it upon
What?
signature.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa, whoa! They took your publishing on your record deal.
on the same record contract in the middle there somewhere they had said that they own 50% of my publishing as well.
BMG, who signed you, were also
Yes,
doing your publishing.
yes,
That is
with one
fucking
signature.
unbelievable. I've never. That
With
is
one
unbelievable.
signature, it's 2 different deals. One is a record contract, the other one is a publishing contract, as you well know. And with
What?
one signature, I gave both away, and it took 3 years to be able to get that out of
Renegotiate.
court.
And it's
Yeah.
bad. There was some. Those tunes were where a lot of the money was getting made.
Oh, massive, man! I still have no idea. We still have no idea where a lot of that revenue went. I mean, I'll go on record and tell you that I once received a check in my life from these major record companies once for 30,000 rand in my
I
whole. We sold close to 500,000 records in this country, and that's That I got a check for 30,000 rand from these record companies. That's pretty wild,
How is
dude.
that possible? So what? You all your everything you made was from live
All live,
shows,
all live.
and then
Yeah. Look,
and then publishing. Once you got your publishing, obviously you were earning Samurai royalties. But the record company days from
yeah.
album sales, you saw 30,000 rand in those years.
30,000 rand was the only check I ever got in my life.
This is the same documentary, man. The Just Ginger documentary. This is way
You're
more
right.
dramatic.
Just finding the bluff boy, bro. Exactly.
Finding my publishing. Finding
Finding my
Just
royalties.
Jinger's royalties.
My sugar royalties.
Bro, there's our spoof, man. This is
Let's
the
do it,
one.
bro.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Oh,
I mean, that's
yeah, bro.
heartbreaking and also something I didn't know. Like, you always seemed like the guys who
Yeah.
had it together. Because you also had I mean, I remember Vernie was so experienced, even. You know, you guys were the young guys. You had this guy, Vernie, who seemed to know his way around.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
tough.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it was more of a bark at that time, and
Mm,
he definitely did have some experience, but we didn't know what we were up against
mm,
with the big giants. We had no clue. We literally we just wanted to get. We were so amped, as you know, like getting signed was a thing. We're like, what? Like, does that even happen in South Africa? So we were so amped on that we really didn't look into it properly. So that would be the biggest advice I'll ever give to anyone: is get a lawyer to check what the lawyer said, and then get a lawyer to actually check out the legal arrangement of the lawyer's letter that was sent to the. So it costs a lot in the front, but it's definitely worth it.
fuck. Amazing. Um,
Yeah.
fuck. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'll tell you. You won't remember this, but we met once. Well, we met a couple of times. I know we've met over the years, but in your very early days of your career, I had a really bad experience with you guys, and it was really all you guys came to Grahamstown, and I was
Yeah.
such a it was like I was still a student there, and I was such a Just Ginger fan. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do everything. So I wrote to your management. I said, I'm gonna set up this gig. I'm gonna take nothing. I'm gonna put up all the posters. I'm gonna promote the shit out of this. I'm on radio, and your managers were like, "Okay, this fucking idiot wants to do this," or send me all the
Yeah.
shit. Put all the posters up, like book the gig, and all this other stuff came. But then when you arrived for whatever it was, Grahamstown was like hot and cold. It was like a relative turnout, and your
Yeah.
managers like shat me out. And I was sitting there like shivering, like, oh my, I love this band and they hate me now. And I got super drunk that night. And you guys played this gig. And first of all, just while I'm remembering, the first thing that fucking blew my mind was I was like a budding sound engineer at the time. When you were doing your sound check, the guy was putting no EQ on your vocals, no nothing. You just like came up to the mic and your voice was just like doesn't need shit. It was just like that's fucking. I just remember that moment. But I was a young punk, still am, sort of. And then we went to
Yeah.
this after party afterwards, and I remember this so clearly. That all the girls were all over you, and I was young. I was jealous. I was like
Which
being
I
shut
remember
off
that.
by your manager. We were both fuck drunk, and
Yeah.
I would lightly say I picked a fight with you, but I was really rude to you because I was just like, "Hey, Ard, fuck you, man." And
Oh, bro.
so
The
anyway,
thing,
hey Art,
in the
fuck
heat
you.
of the moment is fuck you too, my boy. Love you
Nice.
lots, bro.
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
I've had that in for a long, long time.
I charge by the hour, by the way. On the clock, you better fucking not be on
I'll
the
tell you
couch.
this: for so many years I thought you would remember that because I didn't know you were just rock star status at that time. I always thought, oh, he's gonna remember the guy who came up to him in the thing and said "fuck you," but you didn't even. You had like six girls on one arm, nine on another. You're like, who's this guy saying "fuck you"?
Oh, bro, you make it sound so cool because I really don't recall that. So, but
Uh,
I'm glad
well, it
we
was
figured that out.
Grahamstown, man.
Just so
That's
you
that.
know, like I would probably had it in perspective at that stage, and it's like most of my life has definitely been water off a duck's back, bro. So we're good. We're 100%, bro.
Well, it's very nice to be drinking with you all these years later.
Yeah,
Um,
likewise, man.
Tell me a bit about. I did see you actually in LA as well. I came to one of your
Yeah.
gigs there. Tell me
Oh,
about
cool.
the very difficult, I'm sure, and challenging move to LA. The expectations, what you found, and what happened there.
Well, LA ultimately ended in the same story as the lithium story. We literally got signed to Capitol Records and got shelved as well. So we were eventually, when it came out of the
Fuck.
woodwork, we realized that we were actually just a tax write-off for them, and the whole thing was pretty much just an experiment and was
Do they still have
nothing
an
that was ever
album?
going to happen. We didn't do an album.
Oh,
We were on a kind of development deal, and then we did a single, and they picked Chinos, and we spent so much money. But
I remember
I think
that. I
it
remember
was
getting in
ridiculous. We
South
could,
Africa American mixes of the songs we'd heard already.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I remember
yeah,
that now.
yeah. So I mean, they had like Tito Puentes on percussion, and we're in the studio where Led Zeppelin recorded Led Zeppelin
Fuck.
3 and Charlie Chaplin studios. And they laid on. There's a wall full of guitars that you can go and choose, and like you can choose like on the all custom vintage stuff. Each one of them has been played by Kurt Cobain at one stage of his life, or so. And you walk along the wall, and you go. It's an over the top expenditure and an over the top like display of who knows then? I mean, maybe we should have known. We just thought that's what it was. We are like,
Mm.
well, that's why we signed to Capitol Records because we get this kind of treatment because we're going to be the next
Jesus,
big band. But
Captain
all they
Records.
were doing was they were blowing money, spending money in the back of their minds, knowing that they weren't actually going to do anything. And it's a horrible realization when you do realize that. It's a kick in the throat for sure.
How did you tell me about how you figured that out, or like what kind of an agenda is that, or is that just part of how the industry works there? They just test the water on a couple of things and choose a direction at your
Yeah,
expense.
well, I think it's so fickle, Like, first of all, you must remember that Americans are also quite patriotic. So the odds of outside bands coming in and making any kind of difference are very low. It doesn't
Mm.
happen often. I mean, Robbie Williams can't get arrested in LA still, and he's huge. You know what I mean?
Didn't you?
Um,
I don't know if you ever saw that song he did before when he was about to break into America. He did this song. It was part of that sort of Sinatra-esque concert that he did, the Royal Album Hall
yeah,
thing. And he did a song
yeah,
about breaking into America called like Mr. Spielberg, I can't take your call right now. It was so genius and well played. And it
yeah.
was right before he was supposed to break in, and then wet cushion.
Nothing, bro. Nothing. So
Yeah.
so so that's the case. When we used to play. We used to play five-a-side soccer at his house on a Thursday when I lived in LA. He was obviously never there, but we became mates with his like manager or sound engineer or one of the guys. And that was our Thursday night thing. We used to drive to Robbie's house in the Hollywood Hills. He had this
That's fucking cool.
sick that was nuts. We had this sick court, and we used to go and play soccer there, and so we did that. That was literally every Thursday. It was me and Brains. But yeah, bro. So I mean, America is so hard. So if you
Mm,
don't find incredible favor, if they're not spending back then, so
mm,
now we are now talking 10 years ago. Wow, over 10 years ago. Back then it was at least $1 million to break an album, in the
mm,
states. So it'll be way more now.
mm,
Well, I guess it could be different because we've got social media lux and viral, capabilities. But to properly pound for pound break a record in the states before the proper use of social media, that was an average. It was a
mm.
million dollars, and they were not going to be spending that on us. They had spent about a couple of $100,000, but that was relocating. They bought us a van. We got a house. We got a thing, and
Did they
they paid us.
relocate you?
Yeah, entirely with
Okay. I mean,
B1 visas or something like that.
so
So
they
we
spent
came
real
from the
money
states.
on fucking you over. They decided if we're
Yeah,
gonna fuck this band over, they're gonna do it properly. Hey, dudes, I got this great
exactly with
idea.
real dollars.
There's this band in
With them
Africa.
real
We're gonna
dollars,
fly them out, tell them to live
and then we're
here.
gonna fuck them.
I mean, that's if you're gonna fly. Yeah, that's.
This
I
is
mean,
the
I
days
take my
before
hat
virtual
off, bro.
fucking.
Respect
I was like,
Capitol
dude, that could have
Records.
been an email, bro.
So they flew you out here. You guys must have been going. Okay, this is it. They
No, we
signed.
were done. We were retiring. I was already like envisioning which direction I would face most mornings on my tropical island, as we all
Right.
did. Um,
So what? Just tell me the process, because you were there quite a while. It felt like years. Were you there for years?
right. I think we were there for 7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years. So how did like you
Yeah.
got to LA? You had stars in your eyes. You were on the road.
No, here's the trip. So we didn't even go to LA. They decided to locate us to Virginia because that's where Dave Matthews broke on that circuit, right?
Right. So
So they moved us into a fucking house in Virginia,
huh.
bought us a van. We were like, oh, this is cool. I mean, this is Capitol Records. They got a plan. They know things. These guys know things, so they
Yeah.
must know. So they put us in a house together and bought us an awesome Kif Dodge. And so we're like, okay, so this is how it happens. This is how you break bands in America. This is what Dave Matthews toured, and we're signed to William Morris, the booking
Oh,
agency. We're
you
like, oh,
jeez.
I mean,
Did,
we're like, okay, we're done. It's like, well, like what next? I mean, I mean, I'm just. all I have to do is answer the phone to find out where the big tours are and who we're going to be on the bill with, you know? Anyway, it wasn't quite like that. Um, so that didn't happen. A lot of the stuff we tried to get on like ourselves, and it just we just weren't getting the kind of response we thought we would. So eventually, after I think a year of being in Virginia, I said to the guys, "Well, I'd been in LA before." I was like, "Capitol Records isn't in LA. That's where it's at. Virginia, God bless it. It's the East Coast. There's nothing going on unless you are actually supporting Dave Matthews.
Yeah,
There's
there,
really
some
nothing.
idiot thought, well, they're from South Africa. There's probably South Africans living in Virginia supporting Dave Matthews. Let's put him in that circuit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Well, that was definitely the thinking, and potentially that could have been good if there was some follow through, if there was a plan around it. But there was really nothing. It was
Wow.
pretty discarded from the word go. But again,
Jeez,
we were so
that's
stoked and
heartbreaking.
so gung ho. It's very heartbreaking, bro. But we were so gung ho that we just didn't. We decided not to see any. We chose not to see that. Do you know what I mean? We're just like, no, no, no. This is the process. This is how long it takes. You can't just come to America and break in a year. So you have to. Eventually, I was like, something's not right here.
How
Look,
long
we got
in?
to get to LA.
How long are you
Like
there living
LA.
in Virginia before
So this is like
the penny
a
starts to
year in
drop?
Virginia. Like we played like 3 or 4 gigs. We played with oh my god, I can't. For a couple of bands' names, I literally can't even remember at the moment, but pretty big. Played one or two, got on the like minor bills with them, like the 11 o'clock band when they were the 8 p.m. band, that kind of draw.
And who was booking you on these
Um,
shows? The William Morris
so
guys
this
or
would
the
have been
record?
William Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been one of the
So a
little
year
ackies
in,
there.
the label's still paying for your rent?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Paying us even the salaries. I think like
Salary, so you think, okay, this maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this.
salaries, rents. We're like, okay, no, they got the plan. I mean, Maroon Five.
Ah.
Like that was one of the first ones we did, before their big album came out.
Hmm.
And so we were on a bill with them, and we are like, okay, this is cool. There's quite a few people here. We played in the beginning, and there wasn't that many people, but we are like, it's good to be on the bill with all these guys, and you drive far, and then we got managed by. I got introduced to a really cool cat, a really cool manager called Scooter Weintraub, who was managing Cheryl Crow in the day, and I think he probably might still be.
Yeah, I think isn't
So
there a documentary on him? I know this name.
no, I think that there's a different the Scooter. There's a different Scooter who's the Bieber manager that might be.
Okay.
I don't think it's Scooter Weintraub. I'm not sure. There could well be because he was very very famous in his own right, just
So,
with what he had done with Cheryl.
so you
And
got all the big pieces now.
so now we get this deal, dude. Oh fuck, I've actually forgotten this. So we get this deal. I moved to LA. I took a sabbatical. Went to LA. I told the band, I was like, guys, the third album we did in London was very average, and I want to just go and check out this place called LA. It's the mythical land. It's the promised land for musos. I want to go. I had a mate there called Bruce Fulford. I still do, although he lives in Texas now. And I was like, Bruce, I'm coming to come hang out with you for a while. I don't know how long it's going to take. Um, and I don't know how long the visa is that I'm going to get. So I get there and they stamp me for 6 months at the airport. I was like, this changes everything. So back in the day, so I go straight to the Mac store, buy the very first plastic MacBook Air that had a CD thing in it on a MacBook, and I just start fucking burning CDs. I'm like, all right, so here's my game plan. I'm gonna go out and get drunk with as many people as I can, but always gonna have a back pocket full of CDs, and I'm gonna put my number on my pay as you go American number. I'm gonna put my name and my number on, and if they give me their business card, I'm gonna drop it on the floor, not in front of them because I'm not rude like that, but I'm not calling anyone. They are calling me if they dig it. So lo and behold,
I like it.
after consuming quite a bit
This is
of
going to be a great documentary, by the way. I'm writing it while we're going.
so so I end up burning all these CDs, go out to get drunk in every club I can get into, looking like a fucking homeless person that I look like with my dreadlocks and stuff like that. And go into every club, get super drunk, try and use what I think is my charm and personality to speak to people, tell them the story. At this stage, we'd already had the big success in South Africa, right? So we'd
Mm.
already like we'd had that little title for the very short time. And so I met this lawyer, and he was like, "Hey, I know someone at Capitol Records." I was like, "Okay, here's my CD." He gave me his card, and as he turned around, I dropped his card on the floor, and I went home. And he called me the next day. I was like, hey, he's like, hey, it's Josh. I was like, hey, bro, yeah, we met last night at the National on Hollywood. He's like, yeah, bro. So I've got you an interview with the lower bottom of the A&R, the guy cleans the guy who cleans
He cleans
stuff.
the CDs of the good
Yeah,
artists.
exactly. The janitor's 2IC. I was like, fuck it, I'm in. I'm like, let's go immediately. So
Mm.
I drove there. Um, did an audition on acoustic guitar, two songs that I was probably currently jamming. And he was like, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. I'm going to introduce you to the janitor and moving up and up and up and up. And in the space of about a few weeks,
Cut to the
I ended up,
documentary. You're in the elevator, playing to the elevator man who pushes the
yeah,
buttons,
that's how I started. Yeah,
inch by
yeah.
inch, getting closer to the.
Going up to each floor until I eventually reached the basement, which was the top then.
Right. Nice. 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 Nice.
So I play, and then, oh man, I can't remember who the president's name was, though, but it was Andy someone. So we can Google who the president of Capitol Records was in 2003. Andy, legend. He had just produced that big Macy Gray album. I try to say goodbye, but I choke. Try to walk away and I stumble. So whoever produced that record was the current president of Capitol Records. Are you Googling as well?
I'm
Should
googling
we
it right
both
now.
Google?
Yeah.
Andy someone.
Uh,
Producer Macy Gray.
Producer is Slater.
Andy Slater, yeah.
Huh, I
Is it
did
Andy
it.
Slater? Okay,
Uh,
so you can also just double check Andy Slater, Capital President
Andy
Capital Records,
Slater,
President Capital
Capital
Records.
Records.
Yeah,
EMI merging record labels, ousting Capital's president since Mr. Slater. Yeah, that looks right.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, Andy Slater. So it's Andy
That's
Slater.
right.
So
That's him.
he was the president of Capital Records in say 2003,
This is
and
him.
eventually after going through every A&R person in the record company, I get to go to the top floor, quivering like a freaking leaf, going, I'm finally meeting the president of freaking Capital freaking
Are you by
Records in a
yourself or are
freaking
you with your band?
by myself. I'm
Uh,
completely by myself with a pocket full of CDs and a dream and a notebook and a good disposition and a fake limp. And
Never forget the fake
and
limp.
never forget the fake limp. Except when you forget your walking stick, then it's a bit awkward.
Which foot was it again?
But so I go meet him. I play like two lines of a song, and he stops me. He goes,
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's the
he goes,
song? What's the song? What did you play?
oh man.
Think. This is important.
Till I'm done. It's called Till I'm Done.
Yeah.
It was on our
Yeah.
record.
Cool.
Seen this track before, only been from the outside. But it was a bit of a guitar jam. It was
Yeah.
kind of the only one that I was having fun jamming with. Remember in the days when you used to kind of walk around with your guitar all the time and
Right.
jam all the time and annoy all your mates to death. It was kind of during that area, that era. And so I played like three bars. And he stops. He goes, wait. He goes, where's your band? I said, well, my band's in South Africa. He says, don't make your problems mine. Just go downstairs and sort it out. I was like, all right, nice to meet you too, I think. And
Was that it?
I got downstairs. I'm like, what happened? Like, what's happened? And they were like, no, he wants your band to come to America. I was like, that's rad. So I call Brains. I'm like, dude, you're not going to believe this, but I got violently drunk at a club about a month ago, and a couple of things have fallen in place. And I've got us a showcase at Capitol Records in America. You guys keen? They're like, the friend was like, nah, man, obviously you're joking. It can't be. Denim was like, definitely not. It's like, I
Fuck.
promise. That's literally what has happened. So we came out and did. They flew us out to LA and we did a showcase.
Where did you showcase at a club or at the record label?
Um, at quite a well-known rehearsal studio down the road from the label.
To them
Can't
or
remember
to
the name of it.
public?
No, only to Andy Slater and to like
Fuck.
two A&R people.
No, well, that's just
And Andy, and this is the kind of guy he is. He's got an attitude, and God bless him for whatever reason, whatever ego trip he was on, or is still on, or probably is not anymore. Who knows? No judgment. Love you, Andy. But he literally made us wait 4 hours. We got there, sound checked, 4 hours, and he finally walked down. And his words were like, he said, "I figured you guys had flown so long, flown so many hours from South Africa to get you. you could probably wait a few hours for me to get down from Capitol Records. And
Jesus, what
obviously, what I would have said now was, "That's
cocksucker.
fucking rude, Andy," but cool. But then we were like, "Yeah, yeah, of course, no, we'll wait, of course, forever."
Well, just so you know, you haven't offended Andy by what you've said now. You just if he's watching or listening,
Yeah,
he's offended because
yeah.
you forgot his name 5 minutes ago.
Well, there we go. So they're in your face, Andy, whoever. Andy,
Yeah.
what's your face?
So he made you wait because he's like that.
Yeah.
Then you did. How many songs did you do?
Ah, dude, we actually did a lot because he was like standing there, he was walking up and down. He was quite interested. We kind of played pretty much most of our catalog, of which 80% of it was pretty much cheesy as fuck. It was really not LA hip cool at all. It was old school cheese, dude, with
Mm.
a just not really. I'll be the first to say it. It was okay. It was super pop.
You must have done
There's
something
nothing
right.
edgy about it. It was super polished and it was super damn, but that wasn't actually the scene that people were looking for. That was
Mm.
in the post, like Foo Fighters, when the band was on stage, and the Nirvana, and most of the time it was wrong, but there was energy, and they were doing something that just, if like we came with our precision, because we thought music had to be to the T. So we play every note was perfect, and we entered the song going, we played that perfectly, and it didn't impress anyone, honestly.
So what did he say
Um,
afterwards?
well, it impressed him enough to obviously give us a deal, but
So was he like,
I
look, you
remember
got
then,
something, which you got to work on it, or was he like, this is
correct.
awesome?
No, it was literally that. It was like, yeah, there's something there. We can probably look at a development deal, and that's actually what happened.
Uh huh.
So it wasn't like, oh, there we go. There's at least 3 songs here that need production, and you'll be
So
fine.
for that year, was that your main focus was not gigging and getting known? It was just about focusing on an album, or was it a whole lot of stuff?
Um, no, I wasn't focusing on an album at all. It was,
What does development mean then?
well, yeah, well, so it's like, so development would mean just like record a song and see how that goes. And then if there's another song that goes well, then cool. And if by the third song that's been great traction, then we do an EP or an album. So that's kind of what it is. There's no commitment to do a full album or anything. It's just like, that's what it is. You do one song at a time, very cautiously. And
So you did one song to radio.
no, I don't even know if she knows even got to radio, to
Uh
be
huh.
honest.
Uh huh. Did they?
Uh,
Shit.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what they did, but I remember then there was another Andy, also a fantastic producer. He had produced another great record. I don't know why he was also an Andy. Maybe it
Ye-
wasn't. I'm really not good with
Wasn't the
names, as you
same
can
Andy?
tell. It's probably him. It's either him or my mother. I'm not too sure. But
Um,
I don't know. But we got left in the hands of the senior A&R. Let's type in senior A&R Capitol Records
this is the
2003.
okay. Senior what? What did you say? Senior A and R.
Senior A&R of Capitol Records 2003. I'd love to find this out because I missed the dude. He was
Capitol
actually very sweet.
Records 2003.
Yeah.
It says Amanda Sami. That's just a name now. Oh no.
Yeah. Senior A&R. Jeez, Brenton Denham would be slapping me sideways.
Was it Chris Kershaw?
No.
New A&R 2003. That's not easy to find.
Capitol Records.
Wait, I'm just gonna type in people who fucked over Just Gingers. Whoa, there's a lot of
Dude,
pages just came up.
The internet ain't big enough for that. We gotta go on the dark web for that shit.
Oh wait, there's a Capitol Records encyclopedia.
Oh,
Okay, let's have a look here.
Julian. It was Julian.
Okay,
Julian Capitol Records. There we go. That'll bring up something. I'll do that. I will do that. Julian. This would be great to know.
Julian. This is riveting stuff.
It's unbelievable. The listeners, if they're not deep within their
Scott.
their third
No,
REM stage
no,
by
not
now, then I don't
Julius.
know.
They are REMs.
Julian
Swirsky.
Raymond. Julian Raymond.
Okay, cool. I've
Raymond.
just. Okay, cool. Julian Raymond officially.
How's that? That's what's coming back to me. Julian Raymond. Where am I
That didn't
pulling
come back
that
to you.
out
You
of?
fucking googled it, just so you know.
I know. I swear I did. Capital Records, A&R Julian Raymond. He did I remember he was quite involved with the Wallflowers when they came out. the red walls and things like that. Okay, so Julian Raymond, God bless him. I'm gonna reach out to him and go, hey, bro, because he was actually cool, man. He wanted Grammy Award winning and an Academy Award nominated record producer and songwriter. He has worked with numerous music artists, including oh, sorry, no, it doesn't say that at all. But there he is. What a sweetheart. He was very cool. He was a really cool guy. And
Well, okay, but what was the story about him? Something happened with him.
so he he heard She Knows. And like I played the songs, man, and he was trying in his producer cap. He's like, I'm trying to hear the hits here, man. And this was before What He Means, and before we had like a couple of, we literally had like cheesy Shallow Waters and fucking even way cheesier Like You Madly, and like really, what the fuck is that
Were
in
you
LA
not
terms?
writing a lot of new music in that time, or were you just trying to redo the songs that had worked in South
No, we
Africa?
had some new stuff. Like some stuff.
Hmm.
None of it was groundbreaking whatsoever. So these acts, in their defense, they really did rack their brain to try and they did everything they could. I'm gonna reach out to Julian and just say, "How's it? I'm so glad I found this. I'm gonna keep this up." But yeah, man. So I remember he was like, "Okay, She Knows. Let's do it. That's the song." And we kind of went to town on that one, and spent like $20,000 recording that song. One song. Can you imagine that? Can
Hmm.
you imagine spending
What cost
what is that?
$20,000? Was it
350,000.
the session musos, or was the amount of time
Yeah,
in studio?
yeah. No amount of time, like 5 days in the best studio in LA with with the drum doctors came in and we got all the guitars in the world. Tito Puente playing percussion and the best slide guitarist in the business. But that's how they do it. When they do roll it out, they do it properly.
Mm, mm.
Julian Raymond. I'm so glad I remember that. Shit.
You didn't remember it. You fucking Googled it.
I
For the record.
remembered how to Google Julian
Fair
Raymond.
enough.
I
Fair
thought his name
enough.
was Andy in the beginning, bro. So I did remember something. Check out this. He's worked with like Fleetwood Mac and Cottonmouth Kings and Cheap Trick and some shit. So he's done well.
That's cool.
He's done well. Oh, there's another part of the story that no one remembers is that we got managed by the Fleetwood Mac management team.
What?
Like the actual, yeah, properly.
Uh, okay.
This was after Scooter One Trip. Oh, bro, we don't have enough time. How much
Okay.
bandwidth do you
All
have?
right. The question I have is, all right.
What's
So
your data cap?
you
What's your
you,
monthly
you run
cap?
out of road, right? So this is what part I'm interested in. This must be a fucking difficult time now. You
Mm,
realize this isn't going anywhere.
yeah.
And now something between then and staying in LA and trying to give it a good go without the
Yeah.
support. Um,
Yes.
tell me about that time
Yeah.
because that's got to be
Okay. So
really
that was
hard. And
tough. So
you
now,
got another problem. Everyone in South Africa thinks you're a hero and that you're cracking America,
exactly.
right? So you've got
No, exactly.
yeah,
This is pre-information. Everyone's like they've gone to America and they're
they
the
must
biggest
be
band in the
huge.
world. They
Yeah.
they bought 27 properties each, and you'll never hear from them again. So this is this is a thing. This where we were. So we get back after like 3 years of being with Capital. I forced us. I put us in a van. I drive us to LA. I called
Good
Julian and
man.
and and the guy, whoa, Jamie Feldman. Whoa, I'm pulling out the goods here. God bless you, Jamie. You tried very hard. He was a very lower A&R
I'll tag them
person.
all when I put this podcast out so that they all
No,
go like
don't. God bless them. God bless every single one of their cotton socks. I have nothing but love for everyone who's been in my path. Genuinely, I say that genuinely. Um, I remember Jamie. So we drove, and I was
And you've
like,
got to say
dude,
that in case you
that-
need them again.
no,
No,
because
no, I'm
no, I really
joking. I'm
don't.
joking. I'm
And
joking. I'm
no, I,
joking.
I know what you're saying, but I really, this is the interesting part of where you're finding me in my life journey. If we want to get a little bit esoteric for a second,
Hmm.
is that I'm in a space where I don't need anyone whatsoever. I'm so happy with who I am, what I am. Whatever else happens is going to be a tiny bonus before I fucking die, which is going to be very soon. And that is the actual truth. So I don't like to burn bridges, and I wouldn't, and I won't. But I'm never going to need anyone ever again. It's only going to be symbiotic.
You got to
What
teach me this
happened in
trick. I'm very good at burning bridges. Very good.
sometimes it's good, bro. Sometimes you need to teach me how to do it because sometimes you do also need to cut the shit as well. You need to
Mm,
get rid of the bad energy. So I probably not burned when I should have. My point is that I can
mm.
say that very freely now is that like I don't need anyone. Like I'm on such a path of of independence, and and really whatever happens is just going to be mainly my choices and my my consequence. So
And I know these
for
are
a
not
lot,
just words you're saying. The conversations we've had the last few weeks, you're actually designing your life this way. It's quite. I mean, it's kind
yeah,
of blowing my mind how you are following through very strongly with what you're saying about with your. I don't know. Are you allowed to talk about your boat? Or we'll get to
of
the we'll,
course we
we'll
can
get to
talk
the
about
boat.
anything we want.
We'll get there. Let's
Yeah,
go. Let's go back to the dark time. Oh, well,
not even dark,
I'm interested. Hello, whiskey. Um,
Another drink, my boy.
I
One more drink,
I
son.
sympathize with that time a lot because we didn't have a millionth of the success that you had, but we had this experience, like the absolute sort of all the eggs in the basket that dropped.
Yeah,
And then like how to fucking cope with that because people still see you as successful when they have no fucking idea
yeah,
about the realities. Yeah. So
yeah. So what you end up doing with is actually just dealing with people's perceptions, and not even dealing with, choosing to deal with it or not. So
but what about your
we get
own?
back from
Because
we we
you
get
got
back
it.
from LA,
Mm.
and we get back knowing.
But hold on,
I
you
don't know,
said you're in
a long
LA for
time.
7 years.
Yeah,
So,
7 or 8 years, bro.
but that's you're not on capital salary for 7 years.
No, that was like capital was three.
So
We
that's what I'm
went to
saying.
two
At that
unrecord
3 year
companies from
point, you decided
yeah,
to stay for another 4 years.
yeah, yeah. Because we were like, okay, what do we do? Do we go back to South Africa, or we are here on the O1 visa, which can be renewed if we can find a sponsor? We've got a van, we've got a dream, and we're fucking here. Do
Mm.
we run back with our tails between our legs, or do we try and make it work? And we chose that we want to stick it out because we're there. We're in the promised land. It's like anything can happen in LA. And in those days, it was really all about you create your own luck for sure, but you're more likely to meet someone influential in a bar in LA than you are in Benoni. You know what I mean? So God bless this country and God bless it, all of it, but being there is a 30%
Mm.
extra chance of anything happening than not being there.
Well,
In
in
fact,
in
then
a
it was
way,
80%.
being anywhere is the problem with with where we are here near is we're not on any tour map. You don't kind of
We weren't even
wherever
a
you live in
percentage
the
on
whole world,
Billboard.
you're on the tour circuit, except for here.
No, I don't. South Africa didn't even come up as a 0.02% on the Billboard pie chart. We didn't even come up
Yeah, it's
as a
where pop stars
participant.
came to have a holiday and maybe do a gig.
And where the local rock stars could live in anonymity. It's just nothing. There's literally nothing. Oh
So
shit.
were those 4 years, were they trying times or great times?
Um, ag- Fortunately, ignorance really helped us a lot because we
Blinded
we
by
were
ambition.
yeah blinded by previous success. If we hadn't have had such a crazy launch pad, an unprecedented launch pad,
Mm.
what we did here, I'm assuming one of us would have seen the lights a lot sooner than we should have. But we're like rocketed. We're still reeling from like, man, we nailed it in the bottom part of Africa. We can do it anywhere. If you can
Mm.
make it in South Africa, you can make it anywhere. Little did we know that we were in the freaking viper's nest, for sure. Like LA and New York, all those places, it's the hardest place on earth to make it. Um, so we were completely blinded by it. We had blind faith in what we had done. I will say this, and this is probably going to go on record, so you got an exclusive on this. And but we were lazy, man. We didn't do enough. We were there. We should have been writing a song every single day, and instead we were in Venice Beach playing paddle tennis on the beach, waiting for something to come to us instead of us chasing it. And what happened is that is that's not the way you operate in LA. LA, you crap yourself every morning. You wake up, you go, "What the hell am I doing here? Where am I going?" And we literally
Mm.
sat back and we're like, "Okay, so stuff has got to happen for us." So there weren't enough collective driving forces together. I was kind of, everyone was kind of doing their thing, and if I was leading the band, it was, geez, also
So
haphazardly and half between, and every now and then.
would you say, like, in a way, you guys were? massive so fast that actually hurt your international success because you arrived
Totally.
with too much confidence in the most competitive space in the world.
Dude, totally. It's a great question, and it's very, very real and pertinent because actually, what happened is when we went to London, we got signed to Island Records, which is another pre-story before this. And they were like, "But if this band is
Jesus.
so big, if this band is so big, then why do they need anything if they're so successful?" Because you see, and then we learned later on about the ego in the business, which which just exists. You just have to realize that it exists. I'm turning my aircon heater off because I'm busy cooking. I don't know if it's the brandy or my very efficient
Brains.
aircon. What was I saying? Oh, so we
Yeah.
came to the horrible realization that people, no one wants to work with a band who's had success. How weird! Everyone wants to be the A&R person to find the Amy Winehouse and to find the band that is not broken yet.
That is very interesting. Something I'd never thought of.
And neither had we until that time. So everyone was like, "Ah, they've done so well. I don't want to be part of them. Like, I can only maybe be a part of the next chapter of
Hmm.
it." But everyone wants to find the next best thing, not the best thing that's just come from South Africa already. And they already, if you, and literally, it was a common thing. Like, if you guys are such a big deal, then why do you need us to manage you? Why do you need us? Why do you need a record company, etc., etc. You know?
Hmm.
And that was a harsh realization. We're like,
Wow.
yeah, but surely you guys should be amped that we've done what we've
So
done, and you'd be frothing to work with us. You
let me get this straight. If I was completely unknown, you wouldn't want to even talk to me. And now that I'm the biggest band in South Africa, that's a negative. So how do you
Yeah,
win?
no, it's completely. It's just again, it's another right time and right place situation,
Yeah.
and you have to realize the egos at play that exists, whether we like
Hmm.
to believe it or not, in every aspect of every thing, as you well know. This fucking aircon won't switch off, and I'm about to go and rip it out of the wall. Ah, there we go. Sorry, I didn't mean to say aircon like that live. I don't use the A word often.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then you came to coming back to South Africa. That must have been
Okay.
complicated.
Um, Well, no, because we came back, and again, it was a perception thing that we came back to. We're like, we did that. We came back and we did that first year, rocking the daisies. I mean, dude, I've got video footage of that show with 10,000 people on that main dance floor. People thought we were literally. I mean, it was like a U2 concert. It was ridiculous. I was still playing on gear that I was testing out. I was just converting from live guitar rig to to the to like the digital versions of it, and I had this crazy floorboard setup of which it was not working, and the the s- the simulations were terrible, and it wasn't good, and but I was kind of into that space and getting into it. We didn't even realize the magnitude of how big that show was. We had just come from playing the Viper Room the week before in LA to 10,000 people, in South Africa.
Hmm.
And I mean, the footage of it is just Oaks doing this, and of course, fortunately, we had What He Means, which was a really big song while we were gone, and so that was a those songs define you, and they can get you through a lot of shit in just in general. They can carry you for an entire career or a lifetime. But we had no idea. So our welcome home reception was pretty big, and then the reality, I guess, slowly starts setting in. You're like, shit. Now what? Now what are
Hmm.
we doing? So I remember we did an EP called Milk and Honeys, and we're like,
I remember.
there was no record company. We had no record company in South Africa. Like, there was no one after us. There was no management company. All respect to everyone, but there's literally like two or three half competent managers in this country in the first place, of which all of them
Two or
were
three.
busy with other.
How'd you get to
Yeah.
two?
I'm being very generous, assuming you or I could be one. Yeah.
Oh.
So it was a bit of a slow, but again, so it's back to that perception story that you're talking about. Then we had to, people were like, fuck, yokes are back. Like, what's it like? I mean, like, do you drive your Bentley on Wednesdays, or is it a weekend thing that you, and like, and I remember I was back with Lundy, Lundy Swanepoel, most gorgeous, most gorgeous girl. And we still dear friends, love it to pieces. But like, we came back looking like proper rock stars, and we'd been renting a place. We got a fucking eviction notice in LA like months before we'd gotten back because we couldn't afford to pay our rent. And we get back to South Africa, and I get this rental on the beach for a quarter of what we'd been paying in LA. and people like see us in there, and they're like, "Look at them! It's
The sa-
unbelievable what
yeah,
they've come."
the bedroom cupboard in West Hollywood is like a Clifton Mansion in terms of rent.
100%. It's exactly that. So everyone was like, "Geez, you guys have done so well." Like they were shocked to hear that I was renting. I was like, "No, really, like, but look what you can rent here for a fraction of what we were
Mm,
almost
mm.
evicted for in LA." So
Did you sell the van, or have you still got the van? Just a weird
no,
question, I know.
it's very hard to put that into your overhead luggage when you're flying home. We
I'll tell just
could
a
not
side
fit that in the
story.
little.
We
Yeah,
cassette. This is I only thought about this like maybe a while back, but we bought a van. We did this like deal with tequila. Who was it? One of the tequila companies. I should know. It wasn't Jose Cuervo. Who's
yeah,
the other tequila? And they bought us a van.
yeah. I'll make her.
It was I think it was a Maker. They bought us a van in the UK, Europe, for all of our touring there.
Yeah,
And after our last tour there, we left it in someone's garage because we were supposed to come back 3 months later, and then we never
yeah,
went back. And to this
yeah.
day, I have no idea whatever happened to that van that we had.
Such mental stories. If you think about what the hell we thought we were doing in those days, and to a degree, still to this day, except we kind of got shit a little bit more together. But freaking hell, did we not know anything actually? We had no idea, bro.
No,
Actually, we really didn't.
we didn't. I mean, that's the thing. I totally, identify with um, when you can see it. When you can see what is possible. I mean, and then how you sort of behave in the choices to get there. It's for me, it's very hard to look back and remember the decisions I was making in the moment, thinking they were all the right decisions, but completely fucking reality was not there. You know,
Yeah, no,
um,
it wasn't.
it's kind of weird. You need the
And,
ego to drive that hard, but it also is the one thing that can blind you to what you need to do.
yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes having a bit of blind ambition is
But you
can
have
be good,
to do what you've done. Couldn't have been
Yeah.
done for right or wrong without that.
I would not have,
With all the shit in
not with
between.
not with too much thought put to it, we would not have done half of it for sure.
Mm.
So
Amazing.
yeah, man, it's crazy how it all works out, and then you realize that that's just a chapter. Like I look back at photos that Brent's got right now. You know what I'm gonna do? Randomly, I'm gonna put us on Instagram live for 2 seconds.
Just tell
Just
me,
for
has,
two
has there
seconds.
ever been a Just Ginger documentary?
No, well, who would waste their time with that?
There's these stories are fucking gold. These are amazing. I mean, this
Nah,
was such
I
a
don't know.
poignant time, and I remember like it was so weird coming to your gig in LA because I didn't know what to expect. Um,
Okay, hold on. I'm going live.
all
Two
right.
seconds. We're gonna
This
do
is
that.
like
Gonna be
this
weird.
is the Inception version of the show where like everything is live streaming in different directions.
Yeah,
Word.
and no one's gonna know how to piece this together. Everyone say hello to Jon Savage. Try and get
Hi,
the focus good there.
this is
So
John.
we've been doing.
We're on the
There,
podcast. What's your
there we go. You look
poison?
good there.
And this is the strategy of the
My
show.
poison is. Yeah. Straight. So we are getting drunk and doing a what is this? Is this a podcast or what?
It's a podcast that's just about getting drunk and talking shit and maybe getting some cool stories out of it. No agenda. No, don't care if anyone listens or not. It's really just to talk to cool people and talk shit to them. That's it.
Well, that's what we have. If you guys can zoom into that, we have been talking absolute popo for the last 50, almost 7 minutes.
Huh.
I've been drinking brandy. Show us what you've been drinking there, Johnny.
I'm drinking some
You
J&B
found an old
Black.
bottle of J&B that you said you don't like.
I actually am a bourbon drinker, but like these podcasts have made me like clean my cupboards because yeah, it's I'm desperate.
We got Dave Higgs chef who's also been nailing it online. Have you been following his? You should do it. I'll send you the link after. He's been doing cooking recipes every day that are unbelievable. So how's it, Dave? How you doing, brother? But literally like
Are you
putting the
doing your
camera
own
down
podcast
there
right
and
now?
yeah. No,
This is
I'm
a
not doing a
double
podcast.
whammy.
I'm doing a live.
Are you interviewing
We're
me?
doing a double live thing. Actually, I'm going
We're,
to turn this around. I'm going to interview you
we're so
quickly, John.
lazy. We can't be bothered to do two shows. We're gonna just do them both in one.
Why would you need two shows? That's such a waste of data. I mean, Okay, do you want to summarize what we've gotten through so far, just for our listeners?
There was a band that had the word ginger in their name, and there's a guy called Andy. That's all I can tell you.
Yes,
That's as
Andy,
much as I
and then we
remember.
found Julian Raymond, who was our main A&R guy, Grammy
Yes.
award-winning producer. He was part of the story. So Andy Slater, was it Andy Slater?
Andy Slater and Julian
Raymond.
Ballhead Raymond. That's it.
Oh, so this is what it looks like on the other end of this.
Yes, I feel intimidated by the three
of this
cameras.
reverse camera. Sorry, John. I'm getting creative here with our social media. I
That's
mean,
all
like,
good.
why not? You know what I mean?
This is as live as it gets when it's live in all directions.
Exactly, bro. And when is this going to come out? Do you know, or is this already? This actually came out 2 weeks ago?
So this will be. So I tell you what it is. We are actually streaming live now, but I don't tell anyone about it. It's just a little low key stream because it's coming out in like 3 weeks.
Okay.
On this thing because they they come out once a week, so they kind of backed up. But 3 or 4 weeks this will
Okay.
come out and epic. It'll be great because I'll edit all of Art stuff out. It'll
Yeah,
just be
please
me
do.
talking to
Please.
myself. That's what I do. I interview famous people and I cut them out, and it's a very successful podcast.
It's not a bad concept at all.
It's a great idea.
That's. Well, you heard it from the man himself. I just want to say hello quickly to. Oh, bro.
Okay, I want to ask you two more things before I let you go. The one is your boat, your
Yeah.
incredible boat.
I'm not
and
going anywhere, bro. I've just got you, bro. I've just
Oh.
poured a drink. Where
Okay,
are you
cool.
going?
No, I'm not in a hurry. I just feel like
Okay. Ask me about the boat. I'm gonna keep the stream for 2 seconds like
No,
this.
go
and
for
then
it.
I'll check you.
So this
Right.
fucking boat project has blown my mind.
Okay.
How did you get? First of all, okay, here we are. How do you have a boat?
Yeah.
Why do you have a boat? And the
Mhm.
third question is boat? Question mark.
I love it. Okay, so 10 years ago, I got a yacht master. I went and did my coastal skipper yacht master, which is RYA. Yacht master sounds very Lani
Mhm.
for it's just a coastal skipper license, which basically means that you can. I'm licensed for some ungodly known reason to commandeer a vessel under 200 tons.
Don't throw that
Port to
away.
port.
Why did you do this? What
Because
is
I
this?
had this dream.
Oh,
I had
okay.
this dream. This is so what I wanted to do is I wanted to sail around the world. I want to go around the world. I want to just do it. I didn't know that it was gonna
Take
manifest
10
in the
years.
way that it take 10 years for
Yeah.
sure. I had no idea. I didn't know it was going to be this soon. To be very honest,
Huh.
so it's a lot quicker than I ever dreamed. I just knew one day I would want to have this license, and it turned out that that just by hook or by crook, I wish I could bring up an image, just to show people, but they know. Just go and follow. I'll type in here. You go at follow. You got to type in follow Tim SV.
You have not drunk enough if you can do all this live while you're talking to
I
me
know.
and
And
be on
follow.
Instagram and be researching boats.
Okay, let me have a quick sip there. I apologize. Here we go. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, my boy.
Cheers.
So the boat came around.
So how did you
I mean,
find a
bro, I want
boat
to leave.
and go, I'm going to buy this fucking boat?
Yeah. Pull in Dave. Are you joking? We need to. We you must see what I'm doing to.
Art, you're talking to me.
to-
Me, it's John. I'm right here.
Sorry, John. I'm talking to Dave, who's going to be the new chef on the boat. He's pulling in, bro. You must see what I'm doing
Oh.
with the galley. You're gonna love it. I've just got the stove serviced, and it's unbelievable. We'll share all our liquor set crockery.
Also, Dave, call Ard afterwards. You obviously have his number.
No, we don't actually. We only Instagram official.
Nice. He's a real friend.
So Dave is actually the head chef at Marble Restaurant in Joburg. Have you been to Marble? Obviously, do you know Marble?
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yes,
You
I've
don't,
heard
you
of it. I've
should.
definitely heard of it. Yeah.
It's insane. So that's Dave's place. No, I'm not. I won't be driving. Well, I will be driving the boat. Are you joking? Are you kidding? That's my license. I'm just gonna make sure you spill everything. Okay, John. Let me get back to you. So podcast is this anyway.
Anyway, as I was telling you about my boat,
Yeah. Oh my god, this is fun. We should do this more often, dude. I dig it. Bro. Anyway, I found an amazing boat. It happens to be an old wooden pirate boat.
you
got
showed me the
history. It's built
pictures.
by the-
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bro. It's built by the SA Navy. She's up in Soldon at the moment. I'm putting a brand new engine in her, and the engine, don't forget, is backup power to a sailing vessel. She's huge. She's 66 foot big, long, and she's a ketch. And I'm going to put a studio in the back, and I want to sail. When I do shove off is the official term. I'm going to shove off, and I'm going to go east, and I'm going to go east indefinitely. I'm not going to go east for a bit. I want to go east. So here's the slightly proposed route: is that it'll be from the sail from here to Durban is one of the most treacherous in the world. So that'll be nail biting for me for sure. And then I'm going to go from Durban up to Mozambique, as far up as I can until I can head off to Madagascar, go up the western coast, and then I want to head off to the Seychelles and to Mauritius and to Reunion, then the Maldives, from the Maldives to Sri Lanka, and that could take 3 to 4 years. Is the actual truth of it. And then I want to go from Sri Lanka to Thailand, which could be another couple of years. Thailand to the Mentawis and all that. So that is what I want to do. I want to head east until I can eventually even be in the South Pacific. But can you imagine how long that's going to take? And during this time, I want to have many drunken podcasts with friends while I'm on board. So it's going to take a bit of data. But can you imagine the content and the adventures that we're going to have? That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, and
And
I
that's
don't know if
more
this is
than enough for Instagram followers. That's more. I've actually said too much. Goodbye. Love you. Cheers.
Can we talk about some of the things you've spoken about to me before about what you want to do on the boat in terms of the collaboration stuff, or should we leave that for now? We don't
No,
want to talk about that.
we could definitely
I
talk.
mean, that's the coolest. We spoke about this idea of getting. You told me flying people over onto the boat, do a collab over a weekend on the boat. Get some people in and just keep doing that. So you sort of make this global, international collaboration on a boat.
Yeah, that's exactly the idea. I want to meet new people as I get to an island, find musos there, record them, and have it become a song that becomes a single on whichever airwaves want to play it. And it's kind of going to be a bit of a spectacle, bro, to be honest. A little floating circus, except not a disaster. It's not going to be. It's going to be pretty organized, contrary to this podcast. it won't be.
What do you
It
mean? I
won't,
organized this at least over two texts.
I'm saying we probably won't drink quite as much
Well,
while
then
we're
it's
actually
no
doing
podcast I'm
passages.
interested in.
Okay, when we get to a safe island and a safe anchorage,
Mm.
we'll drink like the pirates we are and should be and will be. But yeah, so the idea is to just meet new people along the way and just go and experience life while I can, while I'm still fat enough and half mobile enough to be able to do it before something conks out. Because it's a matter of time before the doctor goes, "Oh shit, that thing there, that's not good. That is then you can't do stuff." That's literally that's the limit of my medical knowledge in the
Hmm.
first place. But that's what it is. It's also a life thing. I want to do that before someone tells me I can't do anything more
I mean, that's
again. And
just so
I want to do it
fucking cool. I mean, not
now.
that
Yeah, I want to.
it's the idea is cool, but I mean, it's a radical idea that you've actually put all the building blocks to do it. It's not just a pie in the sky thing. That's really admirable and quite unbelievable.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, it's yet to be pulled off, so it's a bit of a dream at the moment. But knowing me, it's going to happen, bro.
Hmm.
So whether it's a success or not is also going to be in the eye
What
of the beer holder,
what
I
is a
guess.
success? It doesn't mean anything.
Exactly,
You're doing
exactly,
you're doing what
exactly.
you always wanted. You're living your dream. How's that not successful?
I totally agree. And if we run into a rock on our very first, as we say goodbye at the outside of Hout Bay, if we go straight into the big set at
Just
Dungeons,
fucking make sure you live stream it. That's where the gold is for the Just Ginger documentary that I'm making
hundred
now.
percent,
I'm officially making the
100%.
documentary.
Are you doing it now?
Yeah, so I'm gonna also put all these cameras. It's gonna be part of the documentary. All of the cameras that I'm gonna secretly put on your boat. Um,
Please, we got to. No, no, no. But all jokes aside, it's going to be. We'll be vlogging. We'll be vlogging all of it. It's going to be a content generating machine. I mean, whether it's surf adventures,
mm.
music adventures, sailing, like because we're gonna have a lot of challenges. There's going to
It's
be
death
times we're going to be
defying
caught.
what you're doing. It's not fun. It's fucking insane. Insane.
It's gonna be fucking nuts, bro. And there's gonna be times where we're gonna be in very big trouble. There's no question about it. Like the ocean is perilous. It's always trying to kill you, and the boat's always trying to break. It's always trying to break. So
Right.
so that's how I'm leaving.
Right.
So
So you
I
better
want to
start
do
your
it.
repair GoFundMe now. Otherwise, you might be in
Yeah.
Madagascar for the next 4 years trying to get your boat fixed.
Right, and then if I
Well,
end up in Madagascar for
oh,
4 years,
for you.
you know what I mean? Sorry, boo-hoo, like, well, who cares? But yeah, bro, I want to get out. I want to create content, and I say this very genuinely. I want my
Mm.
friends to join me when they can. I can't wait. I could think of nothing more exciting than pulling up to the closest airport that I can get to, picking them up and going, check at this, look what we've been doing, and just do a week or two escape out of your life and come see how
You'd
it can
make
be
an
or how it
amazing
has been.
zillionaire, bro. You should have all the money in the world to just do this for a fucking riot because I think you
Well,
would
that's
change
the
the
interesting
world.
thing is you actually don't need all the money in the world. You just
True,
need the
true.
intent, bro. You just
But
got
we
to
do
just fucking do it. I
we
mean,
do need to save up
if I had all the money in the
for a
world,
helicopter.
I would actually, I'd probably take away the excitement and the sentiment of it all. So
What?
like the
Oh,
fact that I
oh,
don't have all the money in the world means that we got to do it pirate style, legit.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna come
True
pick you up
that.
in a fucking rowboat, not in a plane.
Right.
It's like
Okay. Well, that's disappointing, but okay, cool.
I'm in a rocket propelled rowboat, but like
Nice.
what other ones do you know of? I don't know.
So, do you have an ETA in your back of your mind, or is it just you're working on
Yeah,
building blocks?
no, I do. I do. I'm hoping with a bit of luck. So this coming weeks, I don't know when this is going to go out, but as of recording, I don't know if you mentioned dates of when we are. I mean, people obviously know in the podcast, but I'm putting the engine in this coming week, um, and we are finishing the anti-foul and the paint job, and we're redoing the tanks, redoing the rudder system, redoing absolutely everything. The master's already been refurbed, and she should be back in the water to begin two more very big phases, which is going to be the plumbing and the electrical, which is kind of important. You kind of want to,
So's
you
the
kind of want to be
plumbing.
able to,
You need a shit.
kind of want to be able to go to the toilet on the boat. You can't get chicks on board without plumbing. I can tell you that
Right
much.
on.
You need showers. You need showers and a place to be private.
Mhm.
Uh, so so the plumbing and the electrical, but they're not massive jobs. It's not massive.
Mm.
And then of course for me because I am very inexperienced as a sailor at this moment. I'm way more inexperienced than my license actually has, or qualifies me to be. I want to make sure that everything. I want to have triple backups on everything. I want there to be two water makers on board. There's got to be two generators. There's got to be two of everything. And even then, you're not guaranteed of anything. Cheers, boy, cheer. So that said, I'm hoping the end of the year, probably first quarter of next,
Do you have
is
to
the
hire
ETA.
those people, or do you have to convince someone who's fucking insane to come with you?
I know there's people who will pay me to come. They
Mm.
love it so much. And
Cool.
and so the first 6 months of my adventure, I will surround myself with three of the minimum at any time, three of the greatest sailors that I can
Cool.
get or afford or convince or so I need proper experience in the beginning because she's such a big ship that she can't be short-handed. not immediately. I need proper crew on her
This is
at,
a
at
big
all
fucking
stages.
thing. You mean it's a huge deal.
Yeah,
It's a big
it really,
project.
it really is. It really is.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
but why not? Why the hell not?
Well, good luck to you as you go
Thank you.
around the
Thank you,
world.
bro.
Where
Thank
the
you. I hope
fuck
you'll
is?
join me, Samid. I'll pick you up in Antananarivo in Madagascar. You ready?
I'm ready. I just got to pack some underpants. I'll be there.
Nah, it's a no underpants party,
Oh,
bro. Don't worry.
I was thinking only underpants. That's why I wasn't planning anything else. um,
For,
I'm not
as a
asking.
face mask.
I'm not bringing this up to be controversial. I'm just because it's interesting to me how you feel about the whole South African anthem debacle. And I've done this, not in the same public way that you have, but like,
Yeah.
was it hurtful or funny, or was it nothing to you? I mean, it really. I don't know what it's like to sort of be the butt of a gigantic national joke, whether it's hurtful or whether it's cool and
It was
funny.
it was it was it was devastating, bro. I hated it. I would take it back at any stage of my life. But that said, having gone through what I've done, it's also part of my story. So
Mm.
it's just what it is. People know that I love this country more than anything. I have a tattoo of freaking Africa on my arm. So if you don't know my love for this place, then screw you anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
definitely not something that you would dream to put on your track record.
People are
But
mean, huh?
also,
People can be fucking mean.
people are mean, man.
Yeah.
That you and the biggest compliment out of all of it is that it was such a big deal because the higher you are, the higher you fall, the harder you fall. So You could get a Joe Soap who could mess it up a thousand times and no one would pay attention. But the fact that I did and everyone freaked the fuck out
Mm.
is kind of complimentary when you get over the, the like the apology of it all.
So
So
did you?
that's always
How did
something.
you respond? Did you just disappear, or I mean, he must have
No, bro, I
felt
had
that
to
was very
face it,
unfair.
man. I was meant to fly back the next day. I had 2 full days of media back to back, fucking every half an hour. Spoke to every newspaper, took every single phone
About
call.
this. That's
Went
what
on.
they wanted to talk about.
Yeah, the next day, obviously,
That's so
this was
painful. Why?
pre
What's wrong with these people?
this was pre-government. I mean, actually, no, it wasn't pre. I mean, the
Mm.
government were screwing things up on a daily basis even then. Can you imagine if if it had have happened now? I mean, the news that comes in on a daily basis would have made that like a 2 minute story. But people were obviously desperate for something then. And yeah, but it stays with you, and it's been an incredible humbling lesson for me. It's been a whole psychological experience for me, and again, it defines me. And it's just what you do. At the end of the day, really, who cares? We're going to be dead very soon, and it's
Well,
a song
that's the
about a
thing,
piece
man.
of land that someone drew a line on once, and we think that this defines our character and who we are. We
Look,
must all be mad if you think it's everything, you know?
that's very humble of you, but with respect to what you're saying, the music you have made, the career you have has had a significant impact on this country, on the world, as far as I'm concerned. What Rodriguez is for you, Just Ginger, and Art Matthews is for a lot of people. To be defined by something so insignificant, I do agree with you. I can imagine in the moment how it might have felt overwhelming, and I'm sure you're over it. But it is unfair that something like that at the moment, at the time, maybe have seemed eclipse the 20 years that preceded
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I know,
But
right? You fuck one goat, and that's how they remember you.
dude, fucking honor talking to you. Pleasure having you here, man. Thank you so much for coming on here and just having fun. It's been really awesome,
Bro,
and I wish you
thank
luck.
you. What a great concept, bro. Let's do it again next time.
Can
Might be from the middle of the ocean though.
let's do it. I'll tell you what's cool. What I love about it is that, like, well, I'll get philosophical for you for a second. You know, one of the things
Yeah,
I forgot in cassette was to how to have fun during it because it was so fucking intense.
yeah,
We were so ambitious. Everything was work. We didn't
yeah,
appreciate. Well, I didn't appreciate the fun times. I just wanted where you were at. I wanted that thing so that nothing else really mattered. And many
yeah.
years later, like I started this Motown disco. I dressed up. I got this famous designer to make me a gold lycra suit. I wore an afro and sunglasses. I called this guy
I
Disco
think I've
Dave,
seen it. Yeah.
and I just went out, did gigs as him, and it was so fucking fun. And it was the best music I ever played. And while I was doing this one gig, I got to headline Up the Creek or Daisies. I was on the stage going, "This is the most. Why is this the most fun I've ever had?" And then
Yeah.
when I started this radio show over a year ago, it was cool, but I was trying to find the angle. I was trying to go like, how's this thing gonna work? How's this gonna work? And then when I spoke to brands, I was talking about you got to sponsor this podcast. They were like, dude, you've got the word poison in the name of your fucking podcast. I'm never gonna sponsor it. So for a while I stopped it. I was like, oh, why am I working on a project that isn't gonna do something? And then after a while I was like, fuck that, is fun. No one will ever sponsor this. It's the stupidest show. It has no fucking purpose. It's really cool. People dig it. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna go back in and just know that the purpose of this is just to get drunk, have fun, talk shit to some mates, and that'll all it will ever be. And so like I'm still
Yeah.
learning. I'm still trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah. 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 We still get bound by thinking that there has to be purpose to everything, but at the end of the day, we have a very, very, very finite time over here. So the more fun we have, the better. And which is my whole motive for wanting to go and adventure as soon as I can. I'm not waiting. I'm not going to wait till I'm 60 odd to start my retirement plan. I'm actually starting to live now. Everything that I've done before that has all been a rehearsal, and you have to realize like we have very brief moments to do this. So how are we going to choose to do it? Are we either going to laugh hysterically? That's what I've
Let's
chosen to do.
let's
Sometimes
do
at
that.
inappropriate times, but
The more
either way.
inappropriate, the better.
Exactly, exactly. So
Last question before you go. Lockdown.
yeah, yeah.
What has your experience been? How has it changed how you think, or is it just confirmed how you think?
That's a good question. It hasn't. It probably confirmed how maybe subconsciously dreamt, but it's just brought a lot of things to light. Like I can tell you right now, I won't be flying to Joburg or Durban or pretty much anywhere ever again to play to less than a couple of thousand people, or at least it's got to be a lot of people. But like on a whim, I'll fly to Joburg and do a gig in Pretoria and a gig here and there to like 150 people, and that carbon footprint will never be worth
Hmm.
what I get paid for that. And so that one in one aspect has changed everything. It's made me think of on my feet. It's made me realize that my brand is is a lot bigger. It's weirdly it's given me a lot more realization of my worth and brand, and also my time alone. And why do I move around so much? Why do people move around so much? If you can afford to work from home and you can work from home, why do you have to drive in and pollute the air every time you go in? So I think it's been a massive lesson, not only for me, but for the whole world, to just take a
Hmm.
step back and take a breath and go, we really were, just completely taking the piss, to be honest. So I think there's going to be a lot of lessons coming from everyone, and from our side, everything's going to be very, very deliberate. And what happens as soon as you believe that, you just elevate yourself
Hmm.
to such a point that I will never do shitty little gigs again, because I'll be like, I'm just not doing that. I'm sorry, and I don't. If it looks like I'm turning down work, then yes, that's what it is. And what happens is that so much more comes in its place. So
Hmm.
I don't know. That's not a definitive answer, but that's kind of what I've learned up until this point.
What prompted you to stand up on your rooftop and just do a gig to the world? I mean,
Because I have a 360-degree view of the whole of Hut Bay, and I woke up one Saturday morning going, "Why have you not done that? What's wrong with you?"
so fucking cool.
So it
That's
was
really cool.
perfect. I mean, I can look around and look at all of Hut Bay. And I literally realized that I've traveled my whole life to find stages and to play on stages when I actually live underneath the greatest stage, arguably on Earth.
That is
Arguably.
now I gotta end on that because that is fucking poetry, bro. That is beautiful.
Love you,
Dude,
Johnny. Thank
yeah,
you for
love you,
everything you do
man.
as well,
Really
buddy. Appreciate it,
amazing.
my boy.
And don't forget, Arno. Arno. Don't forget Ard. I, I had this
Great.
set up. I was about to say, I was going to end with a fuck you, Ard, as a tribute to that first night we met. But then I
Oh,
did
yeah,
one
yeah.
better. I did one better. I called you
Rude.
Arno. Now,
Come on, let's end with it.
if
Let's
that's
end
not
with a
the best
communal
fuck
fuck
you
you.
you've ever had, then
This one I will remember you, bitch. I love you, boy.
to Julian, Andre, Slater, Smith, Bananas.
And all those cats. God bless them.
Take care,
Cheers,
Art.
buddy.
Love
Good
your work,
boy.
man.
Cheers.
Thank you. Wow, how do I end this thing? Good night, all.